All right, guys, and here we are. We are live with a week 9 for the 2022 season for the New Generations Gaming Fantasy Football League. Here with Kate Romero and Codes, as always. And then joining us this week is Michael. He's the general manager of Watson's 25th Masseuse, and he's our guest this week. So how you guys all doing? Everybody good? Everybody happy?
Fantastic. Honored to be here.
There was hesitation there, I sensed. So, but good. Codes, you all good? Michael, you good,
Yeah.
sir? Happy to be here, all that fun stuff.
Fired up.
Cool, man. So I just before we even get going, I want to touch on the DM I kind of teased at the end of last week that what you sent to Code. What exactly is that you said to me? It was something about we jinxed you. You gotta put some respect on your name or something like.
Oh,
that.
right. Yeah. To speak his mind. Let him speak his
Yeah,
mind.
let's speak your mind. That's exactly what it was. Yeah. So,
yeah, not after the go ahead.
was there something that we said that you're like, I gotta, like that's not how this is, or it just, were you just excited to kind of jump in?
Y'all were all beating up on me. I was down 3 because St. Brown was injured
Right.
and then also out, and then just
Mhm.
a whole debacle at receiver.
all
Try
the
to
things.
juggle Watson's Hopkins return with St. Brown. He had a
Right.
3 losing streak,
Right.
and then you're like, yeah, the guy who's never won is gonna scrub this kid. And I'm like,
Wait a second.
what? And
All
then you
right.
jinxed me, and he did scrub me. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Ooh.
good game, but
But it's okay. Here we are now, and
Yeah.
picked up a win this week. So let's talk about last week. Moving into it, implications fall down to the Webster Tigers. I actually literally was working on these early, and I put my stuff down as I won, and had to go back and realize. So it was not a joke when I said in the chat. I was like, wait a minute, I lost because I had it set up a different way. Dan Flash is picking up a dominating win over the Quad Fathers in their matchup of the week last week.
Yep.
Diamond Dogs pick up one over Justin's Deli, who continues to improve. Another point record for them at 153. Raggy falls to win like Flynn was a second dominant week in a row. And then the Spider Pigs and Kung Fu Pandas have a close one as well. Kung Fu Pandas picking it up. But 233 points dropped. A new record for you over Brownout with 196. If Brownout would have beaten almost anybody else in the league, and you pick up the win there. Crazy game. Code. What's your biggest takeaway from all this stuff? A lot of crazy games this weekend.
Yeah. Dan Flashes took care of business. Got that must-win game out of the way. Yeah. Win like Flynn's starting to perform like his team name. 2
Yep.
straight dubs. We all thought that Spider Pig was going to beat Pandas, but they turned it around because they had Andrews for that game and he lost like so many points because of that injury.
Right.
Couldn't play that, but he turned it around and 233 points beating my record. So you got to watch out for Watsons now.
Yeah, for sure. What about you guys? Any big takeaways from this weekend?
You want to go ahead?
Nothing too big. I guess, we'll go over it here in the standings. So, Watson's.
What's that story you just told us a minute ago about how you thought it was over? You put your phone down and you then started to pay attention again. Go ahead and tell that story
Yeah.
again. That's great.
Yeah, no. So it was the first window. I was watching Red Zone just to watch everything, and I think I was down by like I want to say 50 at the time,
Right.
and it was like around the half, and I just kind of was like, well, I'm just gonna enjoy football today, a little another L in the bank. Maybe we should have sold for picks or something, but
Right.
and then I'm just watching Red Zone. Pollard breaks off a run. I'm like, oh, that'll help. I mean, I will only lose by 20 now, maybe. D Hop catches a crazy pass. Oh, maybe I'll only lose by 3. Maybe I should check this. Wow, I'm up by 50. When did this happen?
Right.
All right. And then the Monday night game, I was just like, let's just hope Joe Mixon doesn't have a 50-point game because he might. I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah.
So, and he didn't. So,
Here we are.
Here
Let's
we
go
are.
ahead and take a look at what we've got with the standings here. Jamarcus Russell division stays exactly the same, even though a win picked up by Dan Flashes and a loss from Raggy. They all stay in the same place, though. We go to the Ryan Leaf division. We've switched back, so Kung Fu Pandas has taken over first place there again. Brownout falls down. Quadfather stays in third place again since Brownout beat them in their game earlier in the season. They hold on to third place. And then in the Achilles Smith division, we've got the Diamond Dogs who stay in first place at 5-3. You move up, Watsons. You're at 4-4, but you beat Spider Pigs in the game earlier on in the season, so you take that spot against him. Cade, surprises here for you.
The biggest thing is like, heavy is the head that wears the crown. Row Raggy. I feel like we jinxed him. Out here talking him up a couple weeks ago, and then week after week, letting me down. I'm gonna ask him to be a pallbearer at my funeral so he could let me down one last time there too. And Flynn is impressive amongst all
Wow.
things because kind of like Codes mentioned earlier on that back-to-back win streak and living up to his name. And I think they hurt us. Raggy was feeling the pressure, and Flynn was like, "Hey, who do you guys think you're talking about?" So yeah, it's great. The season is long. The standings can change quick. I think I actually called that out a couple weeks ago. So I'm happy to see that kind of live up to its name, give us some excitement.
Oh boy. Do you think that that division looks any different if Win like Flynn doesn't sell Saquon and doesn't start moving
Mm.
players away? Like, could you guys imagine how good of a division that would possibly be?
Yeah, how hefty it would be.
Right. I feel like that would just be absolutely crazy. As I fix something here, don't mind me. Just how crazy that would absolutely be if he held and had Saquon and had some of these other big name players on the team at 2-6 could easily be like 4-4, and then you just have an absolute
Easily.
mess in that division. But that's not what we've got going on. So fortunately, someone kind of rode the back seat there and joined us at the bottom. Joined Justin Zilli and I at the bottom of the standings here, as we take a look towards the playoff bracket here. So we've got some movement here. The Diamond Dogs stay in their spot. Rava Raggy stays in their spot at the top, getting that bye with Kung Fu Pandas. So Kung Fu Pandas and Brownout switch places here. Dan Flashes and the Spider Pigs switch places here. Quadfathers also moves a little bit, but not a whole bunch. But that's what our playoff bracket looks like now. Michael, do you expect this to kind of stay something similar to this? I'm sure you're going to root for your team to get up there too, but what do you expect to kind of how do you expect this bracket to continue on as we keep going here?
Personally, obviously the Leaf division, as we've all alluded to the entire time, I feel like they're just gonna move. I feel once we start getting to play each other again for the second time, it's gonna come down to more of a record-based thing. So I think the Leaf division might flip around a little bit.
Hmm.
I feel like one and two in that spot could be interchangeable, and then also 1, 2, and 3 could be interchangeable. I think for the most part, the bottom level is kind of the bottom level.
How dare you?
Not saying that it's bad to be there, but
Right.
if you have a plan, but as long as you're not rudderless, and you just have no idea what's going on. But I think the bottom level is kind of set in where we're at.
Kind of set.
Yeah, like I don't really see any huge comebacks, to steal a division from anybody there specifically. But people get hurt, things happen. I mean, obviously, I think I'm gonna be number one in the league. I have to get him back for stealing Justin Jefferson from me. I still remember that, Cody.
Yeah,
But
we were
other
fighting
than-
over that one.
yeah, we were. We definitely were. But I also see the Russells 1 and 2 kind of staying there. I obviously hope Tigers could kind of come out because I think it'd be funny to see the Tigers go to second.
Speaking of which, that's a mistake on the infographic. We were having some difficulties and had to switch some things around. So the Tigers are 4-4 right now, not 3-5. So they
That's
are
what I
currently fighting for that wild card spot.
That's
Yeah.
exactly
which
what
is
I thought
crazy.
too.
Yeah, I mean,
I
absolutely
thought
crazy.
that was a little different. So,
Yep.
but yeah, so I honestly I think as far as the Russell and the Leaf division and ours, the 3 can be interchangeable. But definitely the Leaf I think is going to be the one that's going to move the most.
Yeah, I
Just
think so,
shuffle
too.
around more.
I think it's absolutely crazy in that division, and it really will continue to be spicy as we go through. As we said last week, there's not a world that I don't think that all 3 of those teams make it to the playoffs. And as I look, it's funny. Like I'll go look through the as I'm doing all this stuff, I'll go look at a team and I'll read the Quadfathers roster, and I'm like, how do they not win? Like, how do they not win the league this year? And then I go and then I'm doing the thing for the Kung Fu Pandas, and I'm like, oh, that's how they might not
That's
win. And I'm like,
why,
how does
yeah.
Kung Fu Pandas not win? Like I look at Brownout, and I'm like, damn, how do they not win? It's crazy. Looking at their roster so incessantly was really what made me say, yeah, I can't win, and sold my stuff because I don't see a
Sold
world.
all your guys. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's why I just don't see a world where I beat them yet. So, speaking about buying and selling, let's go ahead and move into that segment of our show here. Code, we are going to start with you as we move to buy and sell. So, let's go ahead and talk about we've condensed it to 7 questions. So last time we did 9 questions. and everybody got 1. This time we're doing 7. Everybody has 2 questions, and there's one at the very end that we're all going to talk about. So let's go ahead, Code, and we're going to start with the first one with you. For buy or sell, Josh Allen's contract is fine since he's the best quarterback in fantasy football. Even at his incredible cap cost in later years, it's worth it to never need to worry about your quarterback 1. To put in perspective, year 5 for him is $500, which is about 50% of the cap. NFL teams do that. Does that make sense for us, in your opinion?
I honestly feel like I could lean either way, but I'm going to buy that this is fine because he is the best quarterback in fantasy. He's 26. He's going to be great for years. And the thing is, I personally think that you can find value from guys that you get for $1 off the wire sometimes.
Yeah.
I know that I've done that with Jeff Wilson. Sometimes all you're asking for from a running back too is maybe like 8 or 10 points if you have good enough receivers. So I think it's okay that he has this massive contract for Allen. I think down the road maybe he would look to sell him or something, but that's up to his discretion really. So I think the contract's fine though.
I think the other thing too that you can consider is that, and nobody's done it yet, but not a single trade has involved FAAB, which is, you remember, that's basically cap room, right? So
yeah.
It could get to the point, let's say he's having a down year and he just needs to move him. He could say, hey, I'll pay for half his contract if you take him and free up half that room for me. So I could totally see something like that happening if he's not in a win window in 4 or 5 years, but that obviously remains to be seen. So, all right, moving right along, Kate, we've got the second question for you. Buy or sell, Diggs, Debo, Hopkins, Mooney, and Amon-Ra St. Brown make up the best wide receiver core in the league for Watson's 25th masseuse. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, kind of going right in and building off of what we were saying earlier, kind of previewing some things. It's hard to work in extremes. And, no offense to Watson, he's been a great guest. I love chatting it up with him, but I wouldn't say best, though it is heavy, a very heavy wide receiver standing. So, I respect Coach and what he's done with this team, and I respect each of these guys. But when we have people like, Mooney's reliable, but when you have Mooney, when we have Amon St. Ra, who knew who Amon St. Ra was before like week 8 or 9 last year when everybody else was hurt?
Yeah.
So it's hard to say stuff like that. Have to give these guys their props because they're the ones in the league. But I mean, I wouldn't say best, so we're selling this.
So we're going to go ahead with the sell. How do you feel about that, Michael?
I mean, everyone has entitled their opinion.
Even if it's the wrong one?
Yeah,
I was actually wondering who would be the best wide receiver core in the league if it's not Watson's. Probably Dan Flash's, right? With Kupp, AJ Brown, and Cooper.
It's looking good. Dan is looking good. I will take a second look. I won't say, I won't budge. But yeah, right now it looks like a sell to me for this one.
Gotcha.
Like I said,
all right,
that's fine.
Moving on to you, Michael. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next question and our buy or sell. Even though they were 1-4, the implications sold their season too soon, and they should have held Burrow and Boyd for longer than they did.
So, funny enough, you all know my opinion, but I think for this particular question and how it's worded, I have to buy it. Because obviously of the opinion of fuck them picks and we don't care, we want to win now.
Right.
I don't think you should have sold the team to begin with. But since you already half sold it, you might as well 100% commit to your idea.
Yeah.
And because if you start getting,
Getting cute with stuff,
getting cute with stuff and trying to keep people and trying to, maybe I win a game here and there, you're basically going to shoot yourself in the foot. You want 100 draft picks and you want everyone to beg you for rookies, and that's what you want. So, yeah, I have to buy this particular one. So,
I love that. I love that quote though. It's one of my favorite quotes of the week that we've done is "fuck them picks" after you complete another one of your trades. So I was on board with that philosophy and traded all of mine away. I then quickly realized I don't know if I should do this anymore. So I was able to buy them back, some of them at least. All right, back to the top of the rotation, Code. We're swinging to you for the next buy or sell. If we make the safe bet that the Ryan Leaf division sends 3 teams to the playoffs, as we mentioned a minute ago, the 6th team will 100% come from the Achilles Smith division, which would be either the Diamond Dogs, Spider Pigs, or Watson's 25th Masseuse, depending on how it all shakes out. You buy or sell that one?
And that's the wild card, right?
That's the wild card spot. Yeah, that's 6
Yeah,
spots. So probably, more than likely, we don't know yet, but more than likely based off of most points for.
Right. So yeah, I mean, if we take a look, I don't know. See, the thing is, we still have so many more weeks left, and Dan Flashes are 5-3. I mean, they could be first place in the Achilles Smith division right now if I wasn't in the division. So I'm gonna sell it. I think that it's still anyone's game for that 6th spot because we really don't know what's gonna happen in the next. Well, we have like 6 weeks left, 5 weeks.
Right. Something like that, yeah.
For the season, so
5, yeah.
hey, I can't say it'll 100% come from the Achilles Smith division, but things are heating up in this division just as much as they are in the Ryan Leaf division.
I also, I can go ahead and toot my own horn here. Oh my God, toot my own horn here because I wrote the rule book. But I do love the idea of the most points for gets a 6th playoff spot. I think that that's a nice factor. We've all been in a league at some point in time in our lives where we had the most points for, and we had rough luck, and we lost all these games, and we missed playoffs even though we had a better team. So I think that out of everybody left, the 6th place team gets the most points
Makes
for.
the most sense.
Yeah, and it just adds some extra spicy to it. I think that is a nice element. So hopefully
because if you're the 6th team and you don't have that great of a points for record, but once you get in the playoffs, it's any given Sunday, and maybe you upset the 1st seed, and then it becomes a shit show, and you're just like, you really ruin their day. Yeah, exactly.
Yep, amen to that. All right, going to keep moving it along here. We are back to UK. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next one here. Buy or sell. $81 for Jalen Hurts combined with him being on a 5-year contract was an absolute gamble early in the year, but it is now by far the best quarterback contract in the league.
Yeah, we first off have to agree that it was a reach, and that's what a couple people thought, but man, did it play out. It's very clear that Hurts. I'd say fantasy wise and just NFL wise too. Hurts is up there with Allen, rivaling. If Allen has a bad week, those standings could change quick, in my opinion. So I'd say right now, because of how affordable it was, just like Watson was saying, let's look at the wording. Because of how affordable it was, because of how much he's paid off and how now he is so safe, who I don't think anybody wouldn't be willing to give up several stars off their squad for Hurts.
Right.
I'm absolutely buying. Yeah. Would need to double check, maybe a couple contracts, but dude's performing.
Yeah.
And it's not even a question.
And I think we compare that Josh Allen contract to the Jalen Hurts contract. Josh Allen year 1 is 146. Jalen Hurts in year 3 is 138. So in his last year of the contract, Hurts is at $302. So again, you compare 302 versus 500, 515. I think that's a huge deal. And a huge contract for Hurts there. So totally understand why you would buy. I think you could say sell, of course, but I totally understand that. I agree. I personally think that's a buy. All right, moving on to our 6th question. Back to you, Michael. Buy or sell. Diamond Dogs' lack of depth could be a concern for them as they push towards the playoffs. They should consider moving one or both of their 2023 first-round picks. Those first-round picks, by the way, are from the Quad Fathers and the Diamond Dogs' own first-round picks. They would both probably be late first-round picks. Do you think it'd make sense for them to buy or sell this?
Another
fuck them picks question, possibly.
Yeah,
Sorry to do that to you. Here we are.
It's another fuck them picks. I would buy it. If you could pull anything with first rounds, give it to anybody who has anything that's worth it, or at this point, if anybody even wants picks, I'm not even sure we obviously we're in the chats all the time, but I can't pull everyone's opinion off the chats about the picks. Some people are quiet, some people are loud, but if you can get anything for it, you can get anything for it. And I remember talking to you a couple of Sundays talking about depth specifically with you, Code, and then also just seeing if you look at our league currently and what's going on currently, it looks like everyone's hurting for depth with these bye weeks and everything that's kind of going on as far as mid-season injuries. So if you can make depth time for playoffs, I feel like that's obviously something anybody could do. And if you can get it, in my opinion, very cheaply for a first-round pick, why not?
And I think it's also weird, too, the dynamics for how picks value change, right? So like the longer the
Yeah,
season goes
for sure.
on, they become more valuable or less valuable depending on who you're talking to, right? So like for
Yeah.
someone who's in my situation, first round picks are my future, whereas for someone who's winning, maybe not so much, and that could be that running back that they need, or that could be this or that they need. So it's interesting how things kind of change as they shape
I
up.
feel like
So
it kind of mirrors the real NFL. Like obviously we were talking about it a little earlier. The Philly and Buffalo both moved picks, and those are two we're
Mm.
going to win the Super Bowl this year kind of teams.
yep,
So just like us, it's like, well, I mean, I could get a first round and get some running back out of North Dakota State who's going
right.
to get injured or a year, or do I get,
Yeah.
some depth at my running back with a tried and true running back in the league who's going to
It,
be getting points?
it's
Yep.
funny you mentioned that because the arguably the 101 or 102 last year, which was Brees Hall, is now injured for the rest of the season. So like, yeah, I mean, these picks would not be the 101, but this is a good point.
Yeah,
So,
very true. All right, moving on to our last question, the all play here. So this is for everybody, and we'll start in that same order. This came from one of you guys who submitted this question to us, which we appreciate. Makes it fun.
Nice.
I think it's a good one. So records aside, this division is just as strong on paper as the Ryan DeLeaf division is. Is again the Ryan DeLeaf division, the division of death with Kung Fu Pandas, Squad Fathers, and Brown out, and Win Like Flynn. We'll go ahead again in the same order. We'll start with you, Code. You buying this one or selling this one?
Just as strong on paper. I'm gonna buy it. Fuck it.
Why
yeah,
not?
I think yeah, why not? I think well the thing is like I feel like I have a strong roster. Spider Pigs has Allen and McCaffrey. Watson's just dropped 233. And going with that any given Sunday mentality, yeah, I think that on paper it's just a strong. We don't know what's gonna happen in the actual rest of the season of the playoffs, but on paper I think it's good, strong.
What about for you, Cade? You buying this one or selling this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna hop in on the buy train here, just because just like Cody's saying, later on, it's tough. It really is super volatile. Even more so than now when you have so many games ahead of you. Once you get later and you're running out of time, you kind of are where you are. But I think all of those teams and each of the divisions are bringing heat. When I sit there and I look at the points from last week, when I look at who won and how these standings changed, maybe not per league so much, or sorry, per division so much, but for the whole league, I'd say the standings were kind of surprising. Some of these losing teams started winning, some of these winning teams started losing.
Yeah.
And I think that's because they do have value on each of those teams. So quick props to the managers there for, putting together a healthy squad.
What do you think, Michael? You buying or selling this one?
Of course, I'm buying it. Like if you just look down, obviously the rosters, but also if you want to get technical, if you look at the points allowed and points for, points allowed, a lot of the times we're so close, and then also you can tell some people are getting a little what's it called, lucky as far as their points allowed and stuff like that. Not lucky, but you can see like, oh, they weren't playing that heat. So
Yeah.
again, it comes down to fantasy football. Always comes down to right place, right time for your particular people. So yeah, we're all equal. It of course I'm speaking for my division, but
Yeah, so that
we're
helps.
definitely
Too, right?
up there. We're definitely up. Yeah, we're definitely up there.
Well, like,
So
yeah, even though we're competing with each other, we're all the division, so it had division pride.
yeah,
Fuck you guys.
yeah, no, exactly. I'm with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the host, so I'm not. I'm
Thinking
pretty
about
sure I'm
Justin
not allowed to.
Jefferson.
I'm pretty
It's
sure.
all play. Hey, you said it was all play.
If
All
it's all
play.
too.
if it's all play, I'll sell the shit out of it. I like when I read this
Oh.
question.
Okay.
I was just like immediately like, "There's no way," and then I went and looked at it. And so you personally, Code, have been a huge fan of the Spider Pigs. Every time we talk, you're a fan of the Spider Pigs. So I'm pulling up the Brown Out versus Spider Pigs roster just because that's the game this week and it's easy to click. Josh Allen versus Tua. Okay, sure. Eckler versus Sanders. Eckler wins. ETN versus Mostert. ETN wins. Waddle versus Devonta Smith. Waddle wins. Pittman versus Mike Evans. Pittman wins. Kirk versus Lockett. Probably even, right? Maybe you say Lockett. Ertz versus Hawkinson. That's probably even. Hurts probably wins. Juju versus Goddard. Juju wins. Mixon versus Myers. Mixon wins. Goff versus Mario. Like, it's all, like, I don't think, I think a super team from our division could win for sure, but I don't think all three of those teams could stack up against all three of their teams. I know I lose to Win Like Flynn, so I don't pull my weight. I'm not pulling my weight. I would think if our four teams, like at the end of the year, let's say we had some type of event, first place in each division played, second place, third place, fourth place. I would say 3-1 to the Ryan Leaf division, and it's because we had a good week. Like, I think a perfect week for our teams would win, but I think a good week for our teams and a good week for their teams, we lose by 30 points. But that's just where I'm at. So if that's the all play, I'm glad I got to play and share my controversial opinion. But all right, we are moving on though. We're going to go ahead and talk about what's going on next week. The featured matchup next week is the Quad Fathers against Rutrow Raggy. So Quad Fathers with a big win and Rutrow Raggy with a big loss as they face head to head. It's going to be a battle between Burrow and Mahomes. And we've got the Justin's Deli against the Implications. I dubbed it the Battle of the Bastards because, 1-7 for both of us. Then we've got Watson's 25th Masseuse against the Kung Fu Pandas, another big game that we were thinking might be the game of the week. Diamond Dogs versus Webster Tigers, Win Like Flynn against Dan Flashes, and another game that we thought was going to be really good, Spider Pigs versus Brownouts. So some three games that are really big that we could say should be the one up there, but we went with Quad Fathers versus Raggy. 1 point difference in terrible math. And just two teams who really need to continue to win. Quad Fathers needs to win to continue to stay in that race for their division. Rutrow Raggy, Dan Flashes, with them losing last week, Dan Flashes winning. Dan Flashes is one game away from them now.
Narrows.
Yeah, it's super small of a gap now. So we'll do some predictions for what we think, who wins that game of the week. Cade, we're going to go ahead. Excuse me, Code, we're going to start with you.
Start with me. I think that Raggy's gonna take care of business. I think he needs to get this win because he's starting into the this gauntlet of games against those guys in that division. He's got Brady and Mahomes. Mahomes is back from bye, so the Mahomes-Kelsey stack's gonna be working for him. I think it really comes down to if he gets his guys back from injury, because I know Lazard's dealing with injury, Thomas is dealing with injury, Connor might not play. So if he has all those guys back, I think he takes care of business.
Cade, who are you picking for the win here?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Quad Fathers. Not that I don't want Raggy to do well. I do. I'm actually. It's hurts my heart that he betrayed me after I was talking him up in front of everybody and really blowing his head up. But at the end of the day, I'm a big Burrow guy. I really am, and I'm eager. I think last week there was a fluke. We were kind of chatting that up before with Watson's, and even despite missing some talent on the field, I think Burrow's going to lead that squad great, and the other guys are just going to be the icing on the cake. I obviously you'll see in the matchup, I wasn't a huge fan of those wide receiver options. I felt really let down there, and I feel like coach is feeling the effects of that. But I want to shake things up, and I'm gonna go for Quad Fathers.
Michael, you're the deciding vote here, 1-1. Who do you think takes the win?
So, as much as I want to agree with the Quad Father, because a lot of reasons, I have to go with Rutrow Raggy because of Patrick Mahomes. Comes out and scores anywhere from 18 to 40. When you have that at quarterback, there's just so much there. So I have to kind of go with the safe Rutrow Raggy pick.
Mahomes too on prime time against Tennessee.
So.
Yeah, totally understand.
Also, I'm a Titans fan, so can't possibly root for the man in good conscience.
All right, well, that is going to do it for us this week. So next week we are going to have Cam Hoon, the general manager of the Quad Fathers, on here next week. So we'll see if he gets to throw it back in your face, Code, or gets to thank you for supporting him in his loss, Cade. Any final thoughts here, Cade? We'll start with you. Anything else you've got to say?
Well, as always, it's a pleasure to be here. You guys are great. I love how we have the coaches on. Michael's been great. We had a great time chatting, both Michaels. But it's awesome to see the development. I'm gonna go back to my prediction. As predicted, the standings are volatile and the season is long. So we cannot just speak in extremes and talk about guarantees, because there are clearly no guarantees around here. And that's something that I really love about this league. It's been exciting. It's not easy to predict. And I'm looking forward to next week and the rest.
Code, any final thoughts, or are you going to hit me with that no again?
I'm gonna let everybody know that the trade deadline is December 1st. I know that the NFL deadline was November 1st.
Yep.
One for this league will be December 1st. So get your guys on the trade block. Start talking. I'm probably gonna be talking, looking to improve my roster any way possible. So just let everybody know that.
Code and I have been doing some talking about maybe adding not adding, about doing like a special one of these specifically for trade deadline ideas and stuff like that.
Trade
So that's
deadline
something-
show. Yeah.
Yeah, something we might do, especially after how exciting this last one was in the NFL. It'd be kind of cool to see something similar. So we'll see if we do
Yeah.
something like that.
Throw your guys on the block and we'll talk about them.
Yeah, please do. Michael, we appreciate you joining us. Any final thoughts that you have for us as we head out here?
The only final thought I have is more of a statement to the league. Diggs is not for sale. Stop asking.
Woo!
I thought it was going to be fucking
He's
picks, but
him. Diggs
Yeah,
is
it's
him.
him.
He is him. Stop asking.
how many people have asked you about Diggs? I know I did a week ago. How many
Um,
people do you think it's been total?
I have to decline a Diggs trade. What seems like every 3 days.
Oh man.
You guys aren't offering enough. I'm gonna keep it 100.
What just
You're just not.
What would make you say? So Burrow wasn't for sale. Got that
Yeah.
offer. I was like, I got to think about it. I literally had to think about it.
Yeah,
What would be?
make you
What would
think
be
about
the?
it?
Huh?
What would make you think about it?
Yeah. What
if
would make you?
someone-
What would make you stop and say, maybe I should move Diggs? Just for
The
curiosity.
issue with every single person's trade is you're giving me picks.
Fuck them picks.
I don't want
Mm.
picks. I don't want picks. You're giving me a second-rate receiver and a pick for arguably the best wide receiver in the league.
Yeah, that's a good argument.
That's like trying to trade for Jonathan Taylor last year with Kareem Hunt and a third-round pick. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get him.
Right. Gotcha. Okay.
So
Now we know. So now all of you guys have paid attention and have the
Bringing the
inside scoop.
heat. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bring some big offers. All right, well, we appreciate all you guys for watching this. Appreciate you guys for being here. And Michael, a special thanks for joining us again. We appreciate you. And looking forward to spending some time with Cam Hood next week. Next week, we are going to do the buy and sell again. It's going to be based around the Ryan Leaf division. And then we'll be opening it up to other different random topics as we see fit. So we appreciate you guys for watching, and we'll see you next week.